Now this may be a large, spot of decay, but this can be and might be largely alive. All right. So here we've got these big conchs, just in case a mycologist wants to look at this and correct me. I think it's a Gandoderma. We'll see what this one is. We'll arm it. If I can get a good hit. 1579. All right, we are here at a very large northern red oak. Let's take a diameter tape. This is a diameter tape. For everyone saying that I'm measuring circumference, this is a diameter tape. These are 3.14 inches apart. So we're basically 35 inches. Well, okay, for the purists, let's go breast height. 35 inches in diameter at breast height. We've got some mushroom conchs at the base. And these are, I'd have to double check the variety, but I believe it's one of the top 5. And, wood decay, so there is some decay in this spot. Now this may be a large, spot of decay, but this can be and might be largely alive. I can kind of see a depression here. It's probably a pocket. But we can air spade this out. We have our air spade tool over here. Got a compressor out by the road. We can air spade this out, and we're going to see, what our wood looks like underground on the roots. So we can see, do we really have a serious loss of integrity on this side of the tree? Obviously there's some monster, that's like a 40-inch diameter. There's this one over here, which, wouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, that this has some issues, right? This is the backside of a lean. There's no target though, it's just the lawn. Here's the house over here. It doesn't even fall very far before this big giant limb's on the ground. This was understory of this one through the years, so it kind of grows towards the south. This is a failure potential, but there's virtually no target out there. So they want to keep this tree. It's just the nature of how people, look at all these massive red oaks everywhere. People like their big trees. Now this one, the greater weight of the canopy is this way. It kind of leans, that way. So this tension wood over here is supporting the tree. We could do some retrenchment pruning up here and reduce these long leads on the house. If we walk under the tree and look up, kind of leans towards the back, but then we have canopy weight out the front. So it might actually be fairly balanced. There's a little epiphyte up there. I don't know what's growing on there. Maybe, oh, that's not an epiphyte. That's that tree coming over here. Was it a mulberry? Mulberry tree coming over. Oh no, that is an epiphyte. Growing on the tree. So there might be a pocket of decay right up there. So at any rate, we'll let Eli start air spading. Kind of a messy job. I have a sounding device here too, the tree check, and you can see here we've got meters per second, feet per second, microseconds per meter, microseconds per foot. And this is in healthy oak, so we could use this number here to see you know, how our sounding on this tree compares to the sounding on a healthy oak. Now I do have a healthy red oak, a small one over there that's a little over a foot, so I could do math on that and figure out what that sound trunk would be. So you can always do your own test. If I wanted the exact, that oak, you know, is that red oak or is that white oak, or what kind of oak did they measure? That is exactly the same kind of oak as this. So I could get an exact measurement of, you know, milliseconds per foot. You know, we want to know kind of like what is that measurement there, if we're measuring across here, or if we're measuring across here. We kind of want more of a caliper measurement from there to there, so we can use a tape measure to figure that out and get an approximate. But we'll take some readings here and see how much decay we can take. We only have this is a 2-pole, so this tree check has, you know, just these owls that we tap in, and then we tap it with the hammer on one side, and the sound goes through the tree to the other reading, and then it gives you a reading on the screen. Pretty simple, you know, 2 poles. So we can take a measurement through here, and then we can take a measurement, you know, in various places around, and we can kind of infer where our pocket is. I intuitively, just having looked at a lot of trees that I've cut down, we probably have a little pocket of decay on this side, and this side is probably largely intact. So we could, you know, there might be some cracks, you know, through between the root flares here. So to get a good reading, you know, we might want to take a reading above here to see this part. Are we solid up here? There may be enough cracks in here to slow down our reading coming through the bottom here. Overall, you know, this trunk looks pretty solid up here. So before all the testing, I'm thinking I'm not going to jump on a removal here. This is probably, you know, we have those spruce trees running interference on the house, and if this, you know, kind of leans to the left as I'm looking at it here a little bit, and it leans to the back, so it's kind of back left, you know, so it might fail. If a basal failure, it might fail out into this area, which wouldn't be a major problem. Hey there.
Lou, your job is to save us.
Yes. Yes.
Blasted yet? No.
No. Yeah, we're leaning towards saving it for sure.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, just from my analysis, you know, looking at it, but we can see the extent of decay. Sometimes these conchs are growing off of pretty small pockets of decay. Okay. It doesn't take a whole lot for this to produce a fruiting body. And so that's why the air spade is kind of worth it, to blow it out and see, well, how healthy are these roots back here.
I'm always gonna make a mess.
Yeah, it'll be a mess. Yeah, I want to move this.
How far do you want me to go around?
Mostly this back side. I think the flares look really solid there, so just come around the outside of these 2 flares here. Maybe over to there. Yeah, let's see what that looks like right under there.
Okay. All right.
This turf is going to cause issues.
Yeah, it always does.
I'm going to stand back because there's no better way to get dusty. Sometimes Tyvek, you should have brought a Tyvek hood.
I have them, and I thought
Yeah. We should have them in the case.
Yeah. Get a blower and blast the rest of it.
Yeah. So now we can get the 800 CFM blower and blow it out. All right, let's get up here. Let's get, we need to get more of this dirt on here.
Yep, I need to blast it free. Oh, there's a concrete there. Yep, all right, now that I can see it, do a little bit more. All right, here we go again.
Let's get this side of this flare over here, and then maybe get a little farther out so we can see a little more of that flare, and let's see a little bit more of this flare, because those are our two supports. Blow it off. Blow this off and blow the conchs off so I can. Oh, yeah. He wants to put his face mask back on. So here we've got, you know, these big conchs, just in case a mycologist wants to look at this and correct me. I think it's a Gandoderma, but I'm going to double check. I'll put it in the notes. But you know, our flare down here looks pretty solid. You know, and also here the support part. So these are probably on smaller pockets of decay that are kind of on the back side of that flare. It doesn't take a large piece of decay to produce this conch. But this looks like still living cambium down here. Now we could do drill tests, you know, see if we get white wood. I like to not be invasive if I don't have to be, because if you connect, you know, good wood to decayed wood, that drill hole doesn't necessarily help. But you know, we've got some good flare roots here that appear to be alive, and smaller pockets of decay in various locations. So I think overall I'm gonna say let's do a retrenchment prune and keep this baby around for a while longer. I think the main a directional failure catastrophically would be that direction, so the house isn't in significant danger. So there's a quick analysis. Game of trees, we're having fun. All right, well, let's do some soundings.
I'm gonna clean up my mess.
Yeah.
That's why we do these.
Yeah, why don't we blow this back in now?
I got a rake. I'd rather rake that in.
Oh, rake it in? Okay. Sorry for stepping on it.
I'd much rather rake that in.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, Game of Trees.
Yeah.
If you want to watch us. Yeah, we've got close to 60,000 subscribers.
Oh, really?
And then on Instagram, I'm over 40,000. So a lot of people like this kind of content that it's not your typical. We do a lot of removals and stuff on. Everybody likes to see us kill a tree, but this is very interesting too. You know, it's kind of funny. Sometimes the more scientific stuff doesn't get the views, and we kill a tree and, you know, it gets all kinds of views. But We like to save trees. It's arbor care, not arbor kill.
This one's been here for...
Oh yeah, 150, 200 years maybe, depending on the rate of growth. So I'm gonna do some soundings up here so we can just kind of push those in. And we'll kind of go across here. We'll get a cross section. I like to go in between the and then where's our on button? There we go. So it's going to turn on. So this is armed, so I'm going to arm it. So now it's armed, and I got to remember which way to strike it. My hammer.
I'll be hurting the tree now.
I think we... There we go. That's the kind of reading. So we got 1,093 microseconds per, and that was, you know, about 3 feet. Oops, gotta arm it. That wasn't a very good hit. Yeah, 1192. Let's see if we can get a... There was a good hit. Yeah, so 1067. So there we're getting a good reading. Let's go across the other way. So we were like 1060 seconds, 1067. Wait, arm. We're armed. 1450. So that took a little longer. So there's a crack, or there's a you know, pocket of decay somewhere. So what I'm doing right now is just sort of testing the consistency of the trunk. See if we've got various imperfections. Oh, how about arm it? Armed. So it's 1007 through there. Let's move it up a little bit. So I think I was a little low. Are we going about straight across now? Yeah, we're going about straight across. So, oh, how about arm it? Come on, Kev. Now we're armed. 982. So maybe that was the difference of it being crooked. So it's less time, so that's faster. So we're pretty solid through that portion. Are we about even? Yeah. So we're gonna arm it. $13.56. So maybe there's a imperfection over here associated with this imperfection. So we might be picking up a little crack, radial crack right in here or something like that. Now we're going to move over a little bit more. Oops, just knocked my...
I think I'm gonna leave you in these.
Kevin will probably write
That unit is like July.
Yeah, you've got pretty good integrity in the wood here. I'm not seeing...
So you're not too worried about cutting it? I don't want you to cut it down.
Yeah, you know, if we were getting numbers in the 3,000s, 4,000s, that would be indicative of there's a lot of decay in there. I'm getting, you know, 1,000, 1,400, 900, and we'll see what this one is. We'll arm it. If I can get a good hit. 1579, so there might be a radial crack in here that did that. We'll do this again because I didn't get a solid strike, so we'll arm it, see if I can... There's a good better strike. And 1523, about the same reading. So yeah, for 3 feet we're getting good time.
The only thing I really worry about, and the only reason I worry about it, it looks great, is that one.
Yeah.
That, you know, that one's got a really good target, and it's my neighbor. You know?
Yeah.
And I think it would do a little bit of damage to their house. You know.
But that is probably, I mean, just looking
I'm
from
gonna
here.
trim them this winter. So
Yeah.
maybe you'll lighten up a little bit, you know.
Yeah, we could do some retrenchment pruning
So,
on that side of
one.
it.
But I'll let you geek out and look at everything else. I mean, you
Yeah.
looked at everything
Yeah.
and check his work, see if he
Yeah.
did okay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful stand of big old red oaks, you know, and they're working together. So our prevailing winds, I mean, we got a northwest wind this last time, but generally we're coming from the south, from behind us here, you know.
Because I did have a big one right up here that felt that, you know.
Yeah, I
you
remember
guys,
that one.
You know, that was that big too. So you know, and it's going to take a while for that one to get that big.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be around probably.
Right. Well, that's
So
what
it's just
tree
like,
planters do for the next generation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that little grove in there. That's
Okay.
beautiful. So
Well,
okay.
Keep them alive.
All right.
I'm gonna go.
We'll do. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, get your video out for me.
I will.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Ron.
Are you going to cut those things off or is
Yeah, no, we can take them off. We'll just,
I mean,
they're perennial. They'll come back.
oh, so they're just going to keep.
Yeah, they'll be back
bad
next
for it?
year. What's that?
Are they bad for it?
No, it's fruiting bodies, you know, so we can take them away and there'll be less fruiting body for them to grow next time. But
Okay.
there'll probably be enough there for them to
They're
grow.
always going to be.
Yeah, they're very prevalent
Okay.
in the world.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go.
Okay.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, thank you. All right, this will be.
Video.
Oh, that was not a good hit. Yeah, that was bad. Let's arm it again. Let's see if I can strike. All right, I got confused. I'm crossed. I'm crisscrossed. Look at me. Do a right-handed strike over here. Arm it. $14.76. Okay, so that makes sense. So I got my wires crossed. So that's this little tool, the tree check. I talked to the inventor of this, and he sold it I think there's a company in Michigan that's carrying them. You know, they're probably around $1,000. And to get a multi-pole one that does a whole printout, and you can use a laptop and printer and print out your data, is about 10 or 11,000, you know, for those. So you can take a survey with these, you know, 2 poles and go around the tree in multiple places and get solid readings. You know, we could do some readings down here just for fun and see if we can't get some. I'm sure it'll be quite a bit slower. There'll be some decay down here. Let's go out on these root flares here. Get our wires in the right direction. I don't know why I saved that. Okay, we're gonna arm it. We're gonna strike it. 1292. You know, that's not a bad number. And that's right through that area. I would have anticipated that would have been more. Now let's take this flare over here. Let's get into this flare. And we'll go across to this flare. And discard. We'll arm it. And strike it. $14.42. Not bad at all. So we're getting some good readings. Okay, well, Kevin Ham here, Game of Trees. We had our air spade, that's all put away. So the air spade with a 900 CFM blower is a great combination to kind of clear out an area. And we got to use some backfill here. We can probably use the blower to get some of this dirt out of the grass and get our backfill back. I think we've got quite a bit of integrity still intact in these root flares, and we've got some small pockets of decay, probably a good sized pocket down in there, but it seems to be pretty low in the crown and not up in this area, which, you know, maybe could you get a basal failure with a south wind? Yeah, I think the house isn't a high target. It's probably going this way with the orientation. We've got a little bit of back weight here. We'll do some retrenchment pruning out at the tips. Get the deadwood. You saw the owner here. He's in favor of keeping it. You know, you can see from this angle, it's got a little bit of back weight. So I think a catastrophic failure would be somewhat benign out here. Where that oak is, there was a big oak, and I forget how that failed.
It failed that way.
It failed that way. So
Partially on that shed, and the fence was
yeah, so there was a shed here. It was kind of fell across here.
the neighbor's shed.
Yeah, the neighbor's shed. And this cherry tree, you know, was all involved. You can see some sprouts there that sprouted since then. They got tin on the roof.
The damage is still up.
Oh yeah, you can see the little dented tin on the roof. But yeah, this is a yard full of massive, beautiful trees. You know, there's one looking at the neighbor, but you see that those long upper canopy leads. We could do some retrenchment pruning there, bring them back to laterals. We tried on our retrenchment pruning, we try to stay, you know, 3 to 4 inches in diameter, so that we're not, you know, bringing a lot of decay into that limb. You know, you're not gonna make a 12-inch diameter cut on a red oak that's prone to decay. You wanna keep your cuts as small as possible. But, you know, we're Ham's Arbor Care. We like to care for trees. We don't just remove them. And so, you know, if you're thinking about getting into consulting, you know, doing investigative work like this, you give a lot of peace of mind to the client. We didn't just guess, oh, there's big conchs at the base, gotta take it out, that means the whole bottom's decayed. Well, it doesn't mean the whole bottom is decayed. Not necessarily. So we still have some active flare roots there that look, you know, sound. I opted not to drill them today. We've got some nice specimens of conchs that we can break off. There's the last year's conch and this year's conch. So we'll just bust those off and take them with us. But in the show notes, I'll try to identify these conchs exactly. I should know, but I'm not a mycologist. I'm just an arborist, board certified master arborist that loves trees, and we like what we do. This is Game of Trees. We're having fun. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
There's always a risk when you're playing the game of trees.